I'll get you a pillow.
You're the pillow lady now, huh? What's up?
There's one of those behind you in the pink shirt with the headband.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so
I have 100 of these for when they leave.
That's it.
You're also being recorded today, so don't make any promises that you don't want to come back up.
Okay.
Why don't you show me?
So this is just a kind of an overview. Okay.
Do you want me to get your glasses?
I have.
Oh. I can say they're not gonna.
Say what?
I'll run you over. I have something to show you.
Let me see.
Do you want to keep looking at him?
Oh, that's one of my topics today.
It's outrageous.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
And he was wearing shorts.
I totally agree. I'm gonna. It's one right on my list. I'm going to address it.
Want my picture?
Oh no, I
I figured you would.
yeah, I don't need that. I can.
Hello, how are you? Just like your wife is so funny.
Oh yeah. Well, this is combining two. All right, all right. Morning. Top of the morning to you.
Hi, Joe.
Mhm.
Wow, we are crowded.
Now, when you say this, if below is next to you? No. No? And walking.
That's not our culture. We don't punk or sad.
Good, how are you?
Sam got to speak.
One of us is working today, so it's okay. Yeah, we're good. I got her presentation up first. You can go first. Yeah.
I'm done. I'll take one look. That's it. Look at him now. You want to do it. I'm through with mine. Oh no.
All right, showtime. Helps to turn it on. Testing, testing. Sam, Jane, can you hear me back there? What? Okay. All right. We have a lot to go through over the next hour. All right. So we combined the town hall with the hurricane meeting. All right. And obviously the hurricane part of it is most important. Many of you have gone through this before and you're old hat at it, but it's always good to make certain that we're reminded of what we need to do, when we need to do it, and who we need to do it to. But before I get started, I want to touch on a couple of things, if I may. Dress code. Everybody knows what the dress code is in the two restaurants, right? Anybody who doesn't know what the dress code is? All right. Are tank tops part of the dress code? No. All right. Now, our standard has been that if a resident has a guest that comes in and they don't meet the dress code, we don't make it a big issue in front of everybody, but we let that resident know, all right, in the future, they can't wear shorts or whatever it is. I am going to make an exception. If somebody comes in with a tank top, they're not coming in. All right, that is totally unacceptable. Okay, so I just wanted, because we had that happen last night, and I've already heard about it, as I should have. All right, and there are some things that we just can't bend on. That's one of them. All right, okay. Just some quick updates, and then I want to get into basically what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of updates. We're going to get into the resident survey real quickly because it's all good. And then we're going to get into the hurricane side of it. I've got Lisa here with the foundation. She's promised me 5 minutes. Okay, so she's going to skip every other word in order to get there. All right, so from a sales perspective, where is Carrie? All right, on fire. 7 sales this month. We are totally sold out. Yes. All right. And that's with the help of residents. All right. We're totally sold out of 2 bedrooms. We've got 4 in the pipeline for June, which leaves us roughly 5 or 6 that are actually currently occupied with people that are moved in to move up or waiting for their apartment. So we're getting to critical mass. So again, phenomenal job. And for those residents that have helped, thank you very much. You're the best salespeople we have. Just a quick note, Palm Beach State College All right, they have a newsletter that they put out. I'm really pleased that to be able to say that Natalie and Sophie from the restaurant, they're two kids that are part of the scholarship program. They were on a team that competed in Atlanta and took first place in, of all things, bridge building. And I mean bridge building. All right. So again, if you see them, congratulate them, because that is really great, and they're part of the family. All right. So I wanted just to bring that up. I also wanted to make a comment too. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but just through the foundation and the Jane Copa contributions, we're up to 10 scholarships that have been awarded to team members. 10, all right, which is absolutely fantastic. And I want to thank everyone that's donated towards this, because it's really huge. The other thing too, and the foundation committee really helped to push this, and I helped push it along a little myself. We are the only community that can give up to $5,000 per scholarship. Everybody else is between 2 and 3. And we did that because we wanted to make certain that these kids would be able to go to any of the state schools and be able to have that tuition taken care of. So we will be twisting arms later on to get more donations to fill the kitty so that we can offer more scholarships, all right, to our team members. But 10, so that's fantastic, and thank you very much. Now, part of my job is to be a coach, teacher, mentor to those that I lead, and I feel very, very strongly about that. That's really the only legacy you have, is how you develop people. And we've been fortunate here at Harbor's Edge because we've been able to do quite a bit of that over the 8 years that I've been here. And the organization has a trust in what we do and what we're able to accomplish. And so I would like to announce a promotion. All right, if I may. Where's Nikki? Oh, there's Nikki. All right, Nikki is our administrator over in the health center. All right, and we have been working with her. And stand up so everybody can see us. Jeez. There you go. Okay. All right. You guys applaud. That's good. All right. Effective immediately. She is now the assistant executive director. All right. And we are developing her to be an executive director down the road. So if you have any complaints, don't come to me now. You go to her. All right. Now, so we're very, very pleased. Obviously, until we have her replacement over in skilled nursing, she'll remain there, but we have a great candidate that we're moving through. The other person, where is Jasmine? There she is. Part of her journey is to get her health center administrator's license. And she has been, I don't know how many of you know this, but she has actually been studying, and Nikki's been working with her in order to do this. And one of the things is that you just can't get the education and then take the exam. You actually have to be invited to take the exam. And she just got the notification that she has been invited to take the exam. So she will be, I want her to take it today. She goes, no, I got to study a little more. Okay. But she'll be taking her exam for her nursing home administrator's license. So fantastic. I think that is awesome. Applause. That's a big thing. All right. Because part of what we do is it's developing leaders. Too often organizations don't do that. They've got to what? They got to pull people in from the outside. I would rather develop people who understand our culture, understand our systems, understand us, and be able to promote them. So those two things I just wanted to touch on. Now, without any further ado, Lisa, come on up. All right. She's got a very short, how many minutes?
10, you said 5.
5.
Get there.
All right, good. All right, here you go. Oh, wait, one more thing. June 27th, mark it on your calendars. June 27th, we're going to have a celebration. All right, we're going to celebrate our kids, our 10 kids that have gotten their scholarships. All right, and we're going to bring everybody together. It'll be like just a little history on them, a congratulations, and yes, I'm going to provide food and beverage. Okay, make sure we get you here. So it'll be a double happy hour that week. All right, now without any further ado, let me give you Lisa real quickly.
Thank you, Jim. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I wanted to thank Jim and Alvin Lapidus and the entire Foundation Advisory Committee and all of you for being here and for inviting me to come and chat with you. You may not know this, but I am the Director of Gift Planning for the LifeSpace Foundation. Our offices are based in Des Moines, but I'm based in Chicago. I've been visiting with the Harbor's Edge Foundation Advisory Committee for several months now. And I've had the opportunity to visit here. So many of you, I've had the opportunity to meet quite a few of you. So looking forward to meeting more of you. Part of our work is to work with that committee who represents you. The way the foundation works is the Foundation Advisory Committee here at Harbor's Edge makes decisions about money you already have, makes decisions about fundraising, and that any team member, any resident can make requests there. Then just a little bit about the foundation. Oh, good, I got it. For about 30 years, we've been doing this work within the LifeSpace family at our individual communities. Because we're a 501c3, it means that all of your gifts to the foundation are tax deductible to the extent of the law. Of course, if you give through your IRA, you can't double dip, but it usually works out better if you make that distribution and then don't count it as income. I'm going to go through quickly. So let's see. All right, so these are just some common questions about the foundation. So where do the funds come from? They come mostly from individuals, mostly from residents like you here at Harbor's Edge, but you should know that we do have team member donors. A lot of our team members make gifts to things like benevolent care or even projects that are going on in the community. And then at some of our communities, we've done some fundraising events, golf outings, galas. We did a murder mystery dinner recently at Friendship Village, Bloomington. And some of the funds that are currently being managed by your Foundation Advisory Committee have come from vendors or legacy gifts. So I just spoke a moment ago of who has control over the funds. So it's a partnership between that committee, Jim as the executive director, and the LifeSpace Foundation team. Although the people from LifeSpace and Jim have to approve things, we like to say we're in the business of saying yes if there's a proposal for a project by a resident or team member, unless it's illegal, dangerous, or somehow not doable, or there's going to be a resident protest if we do it. We'll approve it if the Foundation Advisory Committee wants to do that. Then what's our current work? These are some of the things we're working on. As I said, part of my role is to work with the committee, but also it's to work with individuals who might be wanting to do a planned gift of some sort to benefit their community. All right, let's see, there we go. I hope this is big enough to read, but these are the funds that are available here at Harbor's Edge. And most of what we're looking for and what we promote through the Foundation Advisory Committee are general use scholarships, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second briefly, and then team member emergency assistance. I mean, you know about team member appreciation, but you might not know about team member emergency assistance. This is a fund that's available at all of our communities, and even if the community doesn't have any money in its designated funds, LifeSpace will help with a grant of up to $2,000 to a team member in distress. And that would come confidentially, where did Jim go? There he is, through the executive director or the human resources director to protect the dignity of that team member. The scholarships, Jim touched on this early, and what's really special about Harbor's Edge, he mentioned that you have a kind of a higher cap. But the increase between last year and this year. So last year you had 5 scholars at $5,000 each because of this new kind of supplemental scholarship fund given by Jane Copa. She, in honor of her parents who were residents here, I don't know if you knew them, Simon and Doris Conover, they were residents here for a while until they passed. And she made this gift in honor of them. It added 5 more scholarships at $5,000 each to be available. But not only that, she made a $10,000 gift that was a matching gift that you all responded to super generously, made more than the match, and raised $13,000 toward that $10,000 match for the regular scholarship fund. So because of these two funds together, you were able to give away 10 this year, which is a real accomplishment. So thanks to all of you and thanks to everybody. And as Jim said, we're going to celebrate that, and Jane will be here and hopefully will say a few words about her parents at the event on June 27th at 4 p.m. We are also going to ask the scholarship recipients, as many of them who can come or feel comfortable, to share a little bit about themselves. Am I at 5 minutes yet?
You got 1 minute.
Okay. All right, then I just wanted to lift up the members of your Foundation Advisory Committee so you know who they are if you didn't already. And if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about in regards to the foundation, this is your team. It's the team members here at Harbor's Edge, your resident members of the Foundation Advisory Committee, and us at the foundation, Jason, who manages the scholarship program, myself, and my vice president, Kurt Gilo. And what else do I want to do? Okay. If you want to talk about a planned gift, I'll skip these slides and we can talk privately another time, but those are some of the reasons you might want to. And you all are pretty financially savvy. You probably know the different types of planned gifts, but charitable gift annuities are particularly nice because they pay you an income. These are some other ones. And of course, you can always give during your lifetime, and these are some ways you can do that. Donating stocks, and we can help you donate your car if you're not driving anymore. So thank you very, very much. I really appreciate you. And if you have any questions about the foundation, please feel free to reach out to me, Jim, or anyone on the Foundation Advisory Committee. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for making it 5 minutes. All right. Okay. Thank you, sir. They're going to get me set up here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the resident survey very quickly and touch on kind of where we landed. I'm happy to say that out of all the communities in life space, we had the highest percentage of residents who took the survey. 95% of our residents took the survey. So again, thank you very much, because I act on that. All right. I look at that. Thank you. Yeah, you can applaud yourselves. All right. I look, which one do I push? Middle? Right. Okay. We look at that, and where we see areas that we need to improve, we work on those. So real quick, and then we're going to get into the hurricane side of it. So it's a busy bar graph. All right. But what I want to highlight is where we are. We scored second highest in the entire organization for the Net Promoter Score, which is the overall resident satisfaction. All right. And a matter of fact, we're best to class. If you look at where it says HE, you can see it's 66. When we took the survey back in September, we were at what? 48. So you can see significant improvement. Claridge Court, those sons of a gun, beat us. But there are only 125 apartments, dogs, with an 83. So number 2 in the company, all right? And yes, I'll be honest with you, I'm striving to be number 1, alrighty? But again, great job. Now, some of the areas, culinary, that was probably our biggest improvement, believe it or not. And I want to take a moment to thank Liz and her team and Chef and his team, because they have really upped the game. So thank you very, very much for that. All right, so when you look at this, overall, I'm satisfied with my culinary experience. 71% said yes, 17% were and then you had 12% that said nah. All right, and a quick breakdown. You can see the dining rooms clean and well maintained, over 90%. Dining room service courteous and attentive, 90%. Satisfied with the overall presentation of meals, sitting at about 82%. Meals usually taste good. Something we still have to work on, 75% roughly. I'm satisfied with the variety and selections. You can see just a hair over 70%. And then when you get down to areas that we still need to work on, meals usually arrive in a timely manner and my meal orders arrive accurately. We need to continue to work on that. All right? Right, Jeff and Liz? Yes, okay, good. But again, great improvement, and it's about continual improvement. Team members, all right, they treat me with courtesy and respect, 99% positive. That was your input on our team members. Overall, I'm satisfied with the customer service I received, 97%. They listen carefully to me, 94%. They honor my personal preferences, 90%, respond to my concerns, 90%, and they provide the appropriate amount of communication, 89%. Pretty spectacular, all right? We're pretty consistent with that, I'll be honest with you. We typically score between 95 and 100% satisfaction when it comes to the team members. Maintenance. Overall, I'm satisfied with the responsiveness of the maintenance requests, 94% positive. Overall, I would describe my community as well-maintained, 93%. Overall, satisfied with communication related to my maintenance request, 86%. This is another area that really for the last 2 years, we've done pretty darn well, all right? You know, we still need, 86%, while that's good, I really want to see over 90%. So Stephen and team are really working on how we can consistently communicate, all right? We've been there, what we're doing, and so forth. All right, resident experience and lifestyle. Overall, I'm satisfied with the amount of programs that are available to me, 93%. Overall, I'm satisfied with the variety of programs that are available. Did I?
Twice.
I did it twice. All right, well, never mind that, all right? I like the 93, it's better than the 92. The overall, the lifestyle programs had offerings that align with my personal interests, 89%. Overall, the current lifestyle program has positively impacted my happiness and well-being, 88%. And I have a better quality of life because of living in my community, 87%. So again, pretty good. And that's pretty consistent, all right? Over the last probably 5 years, we've scored in that area. This is a surprising one, all right? Actually, it's not so surprising now that I think about it. Healthcare needs. I'm confident in my community's ability to meet my evolving healthcare needs, 64%. I have confidence in the nursing healthcare staff's knowledge and skills in medical care, 59%. So part of that is because, we don't have the AL and memory care. So it kind of makes sense, all right? Now, as we get that on board, I see that changing. The second one, especially as it relates to our skilled nursing, I don't think that we have really communicated as well as we can how highly ranked our skilled nursing, all right, is. The U.S. News and World Report ranked it among the 100 best. All right, short-term rehabilitation. And there was one other award too from U.S. News and World Report, and I can't remember it now. 5-star rating. Every major medical center calls us first for availability. And that's why we run roughly 98 to 100% occupancy. All right, and that's why we take Medicare. We really don't have to deal with Medicare, but Medicaid. But again, I think we're going to educate a little more. But that's an area that I really want to work on, so that everybody really understands just the great job they do. And let me tell you, it's not an easy job over there. All right, not at all. And anyone who wants to help volunteer, we are more than happy to have you be a part of that. It goes a long way. It really, really does. Okay. Now, hurricane. This year, they were being told by NOAA, all right, which is the National Hurricane, that we can anticipate upwards of 20 to 23 named systems. Now, we've been very fortunate over the last, Ron, 8 years, all right, that we we haven't gotten hit and we haven't had to evacuate. Many of you remember when I first got here, what was it, 2 weeks after I got here, we got to evacuate. So that was my welcome to Harbor's Edge and to South Florida. But again, it's important that we're prepared. I'm going to go through a lot of information. You are not going to remember all of it. All right. I can't remember all of it. So we have a handout that you can take when you leave. And if we run into a situation where a hurricane is imminent, trust me, we're going to be going through everything over and over again. But this is to give you a highlight on what some of the expectations are going to be, all right, and what we've done to prepare. All right, so Harbor's Edge, okay, we are prepared. Harbor's Edge Hurricane Preparedness Plan. First of all, we have to submit that every year to the state. It's been submitted and it's been approved, all right, Palm Beach County. Home office will also have an emergency website set up, just as we've done in the past, all right, we'll also have a 1-800 number, just as we've done in the past. Now, to be used to check status evacuation of the storm is present. Okay, no personal messages are going to be relayed. So you don't call up and say, hey, I want to leave a message for so-and-so. That's not the purpose of that, all right? Postcards with all this information will be available at the reception desk that you can send out to your family if and when we feel that a hurricane is going to be imminent. And then I think Stephen, where's Stephen? We've already done all the tree trimming?
Yes, we have palm trees scheduled this week.
Okay, so palm trees will get their hurricane trimming in the next couple of weeks? Okay, very good. Very important. It's not that the wind's blowing, it's what the wind is blowing. All right, family member information. All right, this is just a copy of what we will send to family members and so forth so that they know what we're doing. They've got information and so forth. They've got the phone number. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, all right? But it's the same thing that we send out every single year. If we have to evacuate, yes, we will be going to Disney World, all right? Now, people have asked me, why in the dickens Disney World? I like Disney World, all right? That's it. And we have residents that still have their mouse ears from 8 years ago, all right? And one that still has her crown. But anyway, I'll tell you why we go to Disney World. A couple of reasons. A, central location, Florida. More importantly, they're on their own power grid. Disney World is used by FPL and all of the state's emergency services as a staging area. So there's probably no better place to be at than there. And every one of their hotels, their major hotels, hurricane proof, okay? And generators that operate all of the facility. So that's why we go to Disney World. I sign a contract every year with them, all right, to ensure that in advance, I also handle the Waterford, so that in advance we know that we've got that. And we'll talk a little more about the hotel rooms and so forth. I also sign a contract with transportation, bus companies, to ensure we've got the transportation to get you to Disney World, all right? Lesson learned was 8 years ago, we had 2 buses. What we didn't have was an elevator, a lift that worked very well on one of the buses. So that became a little bit of an issue for those that were part of that evacuation. So we made certain that that's been tested before the buses come over here. All right. Who has not filled out their disaster preparedness form?
I need a new one.
Okay, I'll get you a new one. Who is not willing to admit that they haven't filled out? All right, do me a favor if you'd be kind enough. If you haven't filled it out, fill it out. All right? Heather's got them. Get that information in so that we have it. If there's an impending hurricane coming, that is not the time to fill it out. All right? So please. From a food perspective, we've already contracted with our vendors to make certain that we've got enough food, water, all right, on staff, on hand to last a minimum of 5 days. Okay? For here, correct. All right. And we are still working. I like getting refrigerated truck also, even though we have coolers that are on the generators. It's still nice to have that refrigerated truck. So we're working on that. All right. So that if we do get hit and we stay in place, I've got additional cold storage. All right. And then you can see in that bottom ticket, we've got 3 emergency generators to cover some common areas, including the health center. Really important to understand, all right, that if we stay in place and there's a hurricane and you lose power, which is kind of inevitable, we're not going to have AC. You're not going to have all the lighting, and we're going to get into this a little bit. You'll have the emergency generators will handle 1 bank, each building of the elevators, the red receptacles, which is for those individuals that need oxygen and so forth. All right, cooling and a couple other different areas. So you won't have AC, and that's important because people sat there and said, "Oh my God, well, you know, I couldn't create enough space in this campus to have the generators to be able to handle the entire building." But just FYI. All right, so a storm is heading our way. All right, I should have changed that. A hurricane making landfall is imminent. Okay. All right. First of all, guests, if you have guests, we're going to ask them politely, it's time to go. All right. Then all services will be suspended so the employees can concentrate on securing the property. Dining will become somewhat more casual. All right. So we will obviously, as we're getting everything prepared, as we're securing the building, we're not going to have the normal menu. We'll have a more simplified menu for all the obvious reasons. All right, maintenance staff will begin to secure the buildings and grounds by closing hurricane shutters and bringing all objects inside that might be flying missiles in a storm. And remember, if you're on the second floor, your patio furniture, your patio furniture is going to need to come in so that we can close those hurricane shutters. That's one of the uniquenesses of that level. All right. And we'll handle that. We put VisQueen down, plastic down and all of that. There it is. Patio objects on the second floor apartments will be moved inside and placed on plastic sheeting by housekeeping and the maintenance staff. Drop shipment of food and water will be delivered the next day upon hurricane warnings. As we said, 5 days supply. Mistake I made the first year I was here is I got those big gallon jugs. Not easy to pick up and pour. So we do the 1 liter bottles now. And by the way, when we close the hurricane shutters, don't open them. Every time we have to do this, I've always got to remind 2 or 3 people, please keep them closed. There's a reason you have them closed. Okay? All right, what you need to do when the storm's heading our way. Now, this is really important. We really do encourage all of our residents to go and stay with friends or family out of harm's way. All right? That is the best case scenario for you. Even if we have to evacuate, we're not going on vacation. It's double occupancy. That's the way the contract reads. All right. It's not, it isn't the most comfortable existence, let me tell you. So if you have the opportunity to go with friends, stay with family, that is what I truly, truly encourage you to do. All right. And if you are going to be doing that, make sure you complete a notification of absence so we know who's here, who's with us, who's left, so we can keep track of those things. If you use oxygen, contact your supplier and have them deliver it and keep a spare tank in your apartment. If you need assistance, is Shelly Ann here? I think, no, we've got state here right now. So contact Shelley Ann. Just a note, you can't take oxygen tanks on the bus to Disney World if we have to evacuate. So we'll coordinate having those ready for you at the hotel. All right, but taking oxygen tanks is a no-no. Cell phones. Keep your cell phone charged. Make sure it's charged at 100%, because if you lose power, you're not going to be able to charge them. Now, Jasmine has been researching. We have one plug over in the administration office that is on the generator, and we're actually looking at getting a multi-charger, where you can charge anywhere from 6 to a dozen cell phones, just to have that, just in case. So FYI, more to come on that. All right, have enough medication to last 14 days. So plan ahead, including medicine you may not use on a regular basis. All right, have enough cash. Okay, and it's not because we have poker games or anything like that. All right, have enough cash, since credit card and ATM machines may not work, or may not have power. Place important records, all right, and valuables in your safe or safe deposit box. All right, if you do not have a safe, and well, everyone has a safe, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, if you're driving, gas your vehicles up, because if there's no power, guess what? There's no gas. Okay? Have emergency non-perishable food supplies ready. Canned fruit, canned vegetables, canned fish and meat, peanut butter, cookies, crackers, snack items, soda, juice, and water. Now, that means, all right, either they're the pull tab cans, or you have a hand, remember the old-fashioned can openers? You have one of those. Because an electric can opener isn't going to work. You're just going to sit there and look at the can. All right? Other supplies to have on hand: bleach, plastic dishes and utensils, hand-operated can opener, all right, plastic bags, extra batteries, battery-operated radio, lanterns, and flashlights. It is really important, if you don't have an electric lantern, all right, now, I'm not talking about a Coleman lantern, an electric lantern or flashlight, get one. Again, if a hurricane is imminent, everyone and their brother are going to go out and raid the stores. So be smart, have it. It's great to have in case of an emergency. Okay?
Yeah.
Plus, remember too, those hurricane shutters are going to be closed. You're not going to, yes, it's going to be very dark. All right? And we don't, no lighting of candles. All right? Fire hazard. So please get yourself a battery operated lantern or flashlight, or frankly, both. I'm not going to make you read through all of this, all right? But this is an emergency supply list. We'll have that available for you, all right? And it just kind of gives you an idea of all the different things that you should have, all right? So, and some of this I've already gone through in this presentation. All right, so notify Shelley Ann if you have special needs, such as oxygen, electrical needs for medical equipment, or medical condition that prevents you from traveling. If you haven't done that already, please do that, all right, so that we can make the appropriate plans. In the past, typically what happens is everybody over in skilled nursing will be transported over to Abbey Del Rey South, and we have certain folks in independent living that frankly can't make the trip if we evacuate. So we plan in advance to have them go to either hospitals, Abbey Del Rey South, all right, or if they're in hospice. All right. If you're not able to fully care for yourself during the emergency, you may contact LifeSpace Personal Services or any other agency of your choice to arrange for assistance. This is really important. I have to tell you, I was pretty upset 8 years ago when we went to evacuate. A number of residents who have third-party caregivers, their caregivers abandoned them. All right, they abandoned them, and it really, I tell you, it pissed me off. We were fortunate that our organization, we had enough caregivers that we could pick that up. But the lesson here, or the message here is, if you have a third party caregiver, make certain they're going to be there when you need them. All right. The worst thing that can happen is you got a caregiver and all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. I've already told our home health to make certain that we've got additional caregivers, all right, in case of a hurricane, an imminent hurricane, to make certain that if one of our residents is abandoned, we can pick them up and make sure they're taken care of. But you need to really watch that. And you've got to remember too, they've got families. They're dealing with that also. All right. Plastic containers, 3/4 full with water, and place in your freezer. All right. Do not use containers that have held detergents or non-food items. Instead, use water, juice, or other similar containers. Don't use glass containers. What happens when you freeze water in glass? Boom, right? And the reason you do that is so that if we do lose power, it's the old ice box. You put it in the main area, you close it off. Limit the times that obviously the doors are opened to keep food cold as long as possible. Fill containers with water from the tap and leave in the kitchen area for use. Twofold. Remember, pumps aren't going to work to be pumping water. All right. So you want to have a supply of water. We'll supply also water. All right. But you want to have a supply of water for a couple of different things. Flushing the toilet, kind of important. All right. So you want to have some for that. If you need to rinse dishes, we talked about having plastic utensils, right? And paper plate. There's a reason for that. Use it once and throw it away. You don't have to deal with it. But make sure you've got additional water stored. Fill your sink or container with water and use for flushing the toilet. Now, we're going to get a little, bless you, we're going to get a little clarification on this. Historically, if it's a category 1 or 2, all right, we do not evacuate. We hunker down, all right, and we shelter in place. And then if it's a category 3 or more, or if Palm Beach County says you have to evacuate, then we evacuate. Now, there has been some discussion, and I've got to get clarification on it. There's been some discussion that they've changed the zones. So it may be, I haven't gotten a definitive word on this yet, but it may be that we shelter in place if it's a 1, 2, or 3, and evacuate if it is a 4 or 5. We'll find that out, all right? The last time we had to evacuate, I actually made the call before Palm Beach County, because what they don't understand is that I can't just say, okay, everyone on the bus, let's go. It takes time. So we loaded up. We decided we're going to play safe. We loaded up early, and as we were leaving, that's when they called the evacuation. So it's going to be, obviously, it's going to be touch and go if we get ourselves into a situation like that. Okay, we'll communicate with residents via in-house TV channel, phones, resident meetings, written memos. Now, if we lose power, guess what? No TV. All right, so we'll be communicating via the notes on a regular basis under the door, so everyone knows what's going on and so forth. All right. Oh, somebody's phone. All right. Stay indoors and retreat to your safe room, which is an interior room away from windows. Yeah. So if the hurricane comes raging through, don't open your hurricane shutter to look out and see what's going on. All right. Stay inside. One nice thing about our building is it is built like a fortress, all steel reinforced concrete. Literally, a category 5 could come through here. This building isn't going anywhere. All right. And another good factor is if you look at all of our living space, it's about 12 to 15 feet above sea level, which is huge. Now, we may be eating cold food for a few days, but you don't have to worry about being flooded out. All right, leave your doors unlocked so staff can check on you. All right, do not open your storm shutters. And, I sit there and tell you this. I've had residents do it. It's like, no, come on, stop. Okay? Do not use candles for all the obvious reasons. All right? Battery operated lanterns and flashlights. All right? Pool cord. Only if it's an emergency do you pull your pool cord. All right? Not, hey, what are we having for dinner tonight? Okay? Please. Only if it's an emergency. If you need assistance, please use your phone. Make sure your phone's charged up. All right. Obviously, we'll have a limited menu. All right. If we have to hunker down. All right. And again, that's based on the quality of water and if we do or don't have electricity. I've only got 47 more slides, so stay with me here. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Now, should we lose electricity, generators will provide emergency lighting in the corridors, stairwells, and some common areas. All right. And one center elevator in each building. Your emergency pool cords will work. Okay? There will be no AC, lights, or use of appliances in your apartment. Staff will come to each apartment to turn breakers off to avoid power surge damage to electric equipment such as TVs, computers, and so forth. Standard operating procedure. We also make certain too that, if you don't have water, we're going to turn your taps off too. Just so you know too, we have an A team, B team, and C team. All right, in case of hurricanes. And so you have those that are pre, you have those that are during, and you have those that are post. And one set of teams will handle if we stay in place. Another set of teams will handle if we have to evacuate. So you may lose use of water in sinks, tubs, shower, and toilets. All right, since the water pumps use electricity to operate, thus you fill bottles with water. All right, evacuation readiness. Pack a small overnight or carry-on bag with enough necessities for 3 days, such as toiletries, undergarments, pajamas, clothing, incontinence supplies, etc. for 3 days. All right. And I will say that pretty much everybody was real good about that the last time. I only had a couple that you would think they were going on safari. All right. Label everything, including medical aids, pill boxes, luggage, walkers, and canes to prevent loss. This is really important now, this part. Electric scooters and electric wheelchairs cannot be transported. Cannot be transported. All right. So, all right, now we will evacuate when Palm Beach County Emergency Management issues a mandatory evacuation order. Like I said, historically it's 3 or above. It may be 4 or above. We'll have to see how the county pulls or makes that decision. All residents will be required to leave. The building will be shut down and locked. Electricity, gas, and water will be turned off at the main and shut off. Now, I haven't had to deal with this, but the police will be called to escort anyone off the property who refuses to leave. All right, so if it's a mandatory evacuation, guess what? We're all evacuating. Now, just so that you know, every year I make an agreement with Palm Beach County and with actually the city of Delray. They will use Harbor's Edge as a staging area for their police, fire, all right, and emergency services, whether we hunker down in place or whether we evacuate. And I do that because if we do have to either evacuate or stay in place, I've got all of the government agencies right there to take care of us. All right. So that's the reasoning behind that. Residential living residents can evacuate to a hotel out of the path of the hurricane area or go with family and friends. Again, I got to tell you, that is your best case scenario. All right. Chartered buses, company vehicles, and employee cars will be used to transport staff and residents. No guests, only caregivers. All right? And don't bring a son or a daughter in and say, oh, yeah, that's my caregiver. No, it doesn't work that way. All right? Caregivers will be allowed to evacuate with us. The reasoning behind that is I have a limited number of rooms, double occupancy, and so forth. Now, that's a little bit of a change from when we evacuated the last time. The last time, it was 2 residents to a room, and if you had a caregiver, they got an air mattress. All right, that was a little much. So what we've done is if you have a registered caregiver, that can be the second person. All right, oxygen tanks, we talked about this. Oxygen tanks cannot be taken on the vehicles. Now, the small portable concentrators, they're acceptable. All right, in the past evacuations, we've had oxygen ordered and delivered directly to the hotel. Those residents with 24-hour oxygen needs may need to evacuate with the health center residents, as well as those with 24-hour nursing needs. I talked about that just a little while ago. For those that are on oxygen, again, contact Kellyanne, all right, with the amount you use per day so appropriate arrangements can be made. Do this in advance, all right? If you require private duty employees regularly, you will need to use them for the evacuation. All right, I'm not going to make you go through all this, but basically, you'll put if any of you traveled with a group and it was time to leave the hotel, you all put the bags out in the hallway, all right? And then the bellmen come and they pick it up and they take it. Well, it won't be the bellman, it'll be one of us. But you'll put your bags out in the hallway, make sure everything is marked. We'll then go take it and we'll put it into the buses. All right. Bags will be transported to the evacuation site, placed in a hotel or room where the resident is being housed. Food will be provided at the hotel. All right. That's the hotel that we're going to. All right. Honor bars are at the resident's expense. All right. So bring money and credit cards. So if you want to rate the honor bar, it's not on me. Okay? All right. Food for private duty employees will be charged to the resident. And just remember, in the event we evacuate, we will continue to take care of you, as well as entertain you. We had some mean bridge games going on during that time period. And a miracle did happen. All right? For all of those folks that are mobility challenged, it was amazing. At 5 p.m. every night, they could all get to the bar for happy hour. All right? It was a miracle. It was a miracle. So, all right, health center evacuation, obviously it's a whole different animal. So we will evacuate to Abbey Del Rey South, which is historically where we've gone. We have a complete team that puts that all together. We transport all the equipment, everything else over there. We go there first to set up our area. We bring supplies, medications, food, medical records. We provide everything, including activities. As soon as the storm passes and it's safe to return, then we bring everybody back. Now, really important. If we have to evacuate, or if you so choose to, if we have to evacuate, don't come back until you all clear. Okay, so it's one thing if you come with us, but if you go with family or friends, do not return without checking first. And the reason for that is I have to have a civil engineer inspect the entire building prior to being able to come back in. All right, so you will not be able to get into the building till that happens. So that's why you want to check in advance. All right, in the past, residents who did not evacuate with us came back to the community without anyone knowing and had to be turned away because the building was still locked up. So make sure you check first. Wasn't that exciting? All right, thank you for staying awake. I appreciate that very much. All right, thank you. Thank you. You know, I kid around a little bit, obviously, but I take this very, very, very seriously. We all take it very seriously. And certainly, if we run into a situation, and we've been lucky touch wood, for 8 years, but if we run into a situation where we're either going to stay in place or evacuate, you're going to be overwhelmed with information. All right? So you shouldn't have any questions. And like I said, we do a lot of pre-planning. All right? And plan for the worst, hope for the best. So anyone have any questions?
The garages are at sea level.
Yeah.
What happens in the garages?
You know, I will tell you, we've never, touch wood, it's actually just a hair above sea level. We've never had issues with water getting into those garages. Now, listen, if you get a 10-foot wall of water, you're going to have issues, okay? But thus far, we haven't. And that's something that we'll look at. If something's imminent, depending on how strong it is, we may make the recommendation, hey, take your vehicles, park them somewhere, all right? Well, and we'll have to figure that out. We've all been in Florida long enough to know there are so many different variables when it comes to these storms. Was it last year or the year before? We thought for sure we were going to get hit. Remember? And then like 15 miles or whatever it was, 30 miles out, it made a jump. All right. So that type of thing we'll work through once we have more information as to what the severity of the storm is.
Yes, do the buses have bathrooms?
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm not going to make you sit there for 3 hours. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No, they have restrooms.
Can we drive ourselves, and what about our pets?
You can drive, and we'll provide transportation. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't put that in there. You can drive yourself. All right. We've had a number of residents that have done that. And B, you can, depending on the hotel, all right, you can bring your pets. You'll have to have a carrier. Now, there's a nuance to that, and that is our caveat to that, and that is that so long as the hotel that Disney puts us in is pet friendly. If not, then you need to make arrangements for a pet sitter. All right. And if something's imminent, we'll work together to figure out what's in the area outside of the hurricane zone. All right. That's a good. I had to put that in the presentation moving forward.
You made the reference to registered caregivers. Could you explain?
Yeah. Basically, it's if you have, for instance, you have a caregiver, all right, who's either home health or third party. That's what I'm saying. All right. So if you currently have one, you're fine. All right. So it's either a third party or it's our home health. Okay. Anybody else?
How much before touchdown of the hurricane do we leave the premises? Because I used to go with my husband, and it could be a mess on the road.
Everyone heard the question, right? Okay, the question was, how soon before touchdown, all right, other words, how soon before the hurricane hits would we look to evacuate? That is really dependent on severity of the hurricane, whether we are being told to evacuate by Palm Beach, all right, and all of those things. I know that when we evacuated the last time, the buses, because we went a different route, actually we got to Disney World faster than Judy and Val at the time, who got stuck in all that traffic. All right. But it's really going to depend on how big's the hurricane, where's it going to hit? Is it going to be a mandatory evacuation? Because the roads, you're right. All right. If it's a mandatory evacuation, everyone's going to be heading out. All right. Last question. One more question. Anybody? All right. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Does Harbor's Edge have a reserve for the incremental cost likely to be incurred if we have to evacuate?
Oh yeah. Now, here's the here's the question was, do we have money in the kitty for you to evacuate? We have insurance for this. Now the deductible is $500,000. All right. And I think the last time we evacuated, I think our cost was somewhere in the neighborhood of two and a quarter. All right. I may be off by 20 or 30,000, but yeah. All right. Good question. All right. Everyone, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Jim? I'm a lawyer.